Take over, Elon, just take over.
He gave him nearly $300 million to win the election. He gave him a seat at the table. He took a chainsaw to government waste.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
He gave him a golden key in thanks. But now the richest and most powerful bromance has come to an abrupt end.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore.
President Trump was responding after Elon Musk took to X, his social media platform, to attack the president's big, beautiful bill, saying, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it." The president then said this in the Oval Office.
I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. It's the biggest cut in the history of our country.
Musk said he'd never seen the bill and then asked whether it was time to start a new political party. Trump replied on his own social media platform, Truth Social. "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. And he just went crazy." He then threatened Musk. The easiest way to save money is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. That made Musk issue his own threat. Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. There is no evidence of this. It's an astonishing friend divorce that has already started to rock Washington.
What we're hearing and seeing are chickens coming home to roost.
I think right now it's just pure emotion. He's very, very frustrated. And when people get really, really emotional, they start saying things that don't necessarily make any sense.
You got big personalities. Again, I think Elon crossed the line today.
Has Trump crossed the line threatening to cancel his contracts?
Look, I mean, let those guys go play it out. Everybody was predicting it when it first began. You've got two gentlemen with gargantuan egos and both appearing to suffer from malignant narcissistic personality disorder.
This was never a match made in heaven. Musk had previously voted for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, and in many ways his outlook is very much opposed to the MAGA agenda, a billionaire whose companies rely on global trade and a close relationship with China. Plus, given Musk's the man leading the electric vehicle revolution, that goes against a Trump movement that is all about oil and gas. That's why Steve Bannon, one of Trump's longtime supporters and an ardent populist, has always accused Musk of being an opportunist, calling him evil and a techno-feudalist.
You know, I tease Elon all the time. If I could turn him from a techno-feudalist globalist to a populist nationalist, we could make some progress here.
The first signs of a strain came when Trump began rolling out and rolling back his infamous tariffs, which was masterminded by Peter Navarro, an economic counselor to the president. Musk called Navarro a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks, and he came out vehemently against the tariff agenda in his feud with Trump, saying that they will cause a recession in the second half of the year. It's all come to a head now because of the president's signature legislation, the big beautiful bill.
It's not like I agree with everything the administration does.
Musk, whose Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has been trying to slash government waste, is against the bill because he says it will simply ratchet up spending.
I don't want to speak out against the administration, but I don't want to. I also don't want to take responsibility for everything the administration is doing.
But now he's speaking up and posting all over X. And in this latest fallout, the biggest question is what next? Musk has said Trump should be impeached, and given he's already used his billions to help Trump get into power, now could he use it to get him out? On the other hand, Trump has the power of the government behind him, and he could do damage to Musk's companies, Tesla and SpaceX. And Steve Bannon has said the president should investigate the billionaire, citing claims of Musk's regular drug use. Who knows where this goes or ends, but Musk continues a long tradition of the highs and lows of a Trump bromance.
I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it.
And so now I'm going to talk to Gary Gerstle, a historian and an author, and we're going to go through the sort of knotty intricacies of this Musk and Trump fallout. So Gary, firstly, I mean, what do you make of this argument between these two powerful men? Is it just a sort of a short bickering, or do you think there's something more momentous going on here?
Well, welcome to Worldwide Wrestling. Through 2 stars of the show. On the one hand, it's clear that a falling out was coming for some time. These two super alpha men used to being the dominant dog in the room. And the question for months has been how long would they be able to tolerate each other? And you can see signs of a breakup coming, Doge not working very well, Musk suffering multiple defeats. But the precise timing of the explosion came as a surprise and has been filling up the airwaves. And because these people are not just rich and powerful, but basically own extremely powerful social media platforms, it's all people have been talking about in the last 24 hours.
Because can you go into that a bit more about the inevitability of this? The fact that, Elon Musk has never been a particularly, easy traveler when it comes to the MAGA movement in terms of his own politics and his own background.
Yes, I don't think he certainly was not on the ground for the MAGA movement from its inception. He was a pretty fierce critic of Trump in 2016. He thought of his political sympathies as then lying with the Democrats. His EV commitment and Tesla fit much more comfortably into a democratic worldview, worried about climate change, offering America's solution to ease the green transition. And of course, MAGA is deeply opposed to any kind of subsidies that are going to accelerate the green transition through government subsidies. I think they don't mind if markets adapt on their own. But the idea that this is something that the government would support, and the government has been supporting Tesla with massive subsidies during its history, this has never been a favored MAGA program, nor something that Trump has liked or wanted to promote. And given his determination to deconstruct just about everything the Biden administration did in terms of the green transition, that he would go after Tesla's economic subsidies, and that's a significant part of the big, beautiful bill that is in Congress right now. That does not come as a surprise. I guess the surprise is more, why did Musk wake up at this moment? Perhaps the best understanding of that is that he's taken a series of hits and defeats. He poured $20 million into a Wisconsin Supreme Court primary election, which he lost. Doge is a failure. The Tesla brand has been deeply hurt, both domestically and internationally, by his fervent support for MAGA. So I think it's probably an accumulation of defeats that made him wake up one morning and say, wow, I'm in a good deal of trouble.
Does that mean you would agree with what Steve Bannon's always said, that this is just a guy who's an opportunist trying to jump onto the Trump bandwagon? I mean, why was Musk involved in the first place, do you think?
It's funny to hear Bannon talk about Musk being an opportunist when Trump defines the meaning of opportunism. I think that's too simple an explanation because Musk is part of a whole faction of Silicon Valley and high tech that has gone over to fervent support for Trump. And if we want to understand that, we have to go back to the Biden administration and understand that one of the major projects of the Biden administration was to discipline capital in ways that had not been disciplined in a long time. And there were a series of initiatives undertaken by the Biden administration to discipline and impose regulation on high tech of a sort that had never been done before. So I think understanding Musk's turn is best understood if it's put in the context of anger at the Biden administration for imposing on these high tech lords a kind of regulation they had never experienced before. And that has brought Musk into a closer alignment with other major figures in Silicon Valley, such as Peter Thiel and Jeff Bezos and others. So I think it's wrong to see this simply as a matter of opportunism. It's better to see this as him beginning to realize that the interests of his high tech initiatives, and I would include Tesla in that, would best be served by an alliance with Trump rather than fighting him, as historically had been the case.
Does that mean, just briefly, that as big a blow up this is, if we think it is, this isn't a big reversal in terms of more broadly what we're seeing when it comes to the tech bros, the oligarchs, being closely aligned with a Trump movement, which is very much about deregulation?
I think it would be premature to say that this indicates the breakup of the alliance between Trump and the tech lords. And also, Musk has always been something of an outlier. Also, the fact that he's moved a lot of his headquarters out of Silicon Valley and Northern California into Texas indicates a certain distance from that tech world. So I think his relationship to the rest of that techno-libertarian right has always been a little problematic, and Musk by nature is deeply a loner. So I think the tech lords are going to continue to ally themselves with Trump because crypto and AI have become so crucial to them and their future, and they want to be released from all forms of state regulation, although they do not want to be released from forms of state subsidy because they want state government subsidies for their AI ventures, and they need help in that regard. But I'm sure if we were in the boardrooms or in the private conversations with the tech lords today, they are extremely nervous about this fight and beginning to understand that there are fundamental elements of the MAGA movement that are not in sympathy with the future they imagine. Because MAGA at its heart is not a libertarian movement. It's an economic nationalist movement. It actually wants government to be deeply involved in the economy, to reshore manufacturing and bring back better jobs for working class Americans. And the techno-libertarians have no interest in that. That is not the kind of future that they want to invest in.
Which is why, yeah, I mean, the MAGA movement more broadly has been quite happy to see Musk cut off from Trump and the White House. Conversely, though, does that mean that Musk could actually be a threat to Trump, though? I mean, you know, this is a man who's figured out that, you know, if I pump lots of money into the presidential election, it can have an impact. It didn't have as much of an impact in Wisconsin. Could he, you know, he's already tweeted about possibly setting up another political party. Do you think that could be an actual threat towards Trump, that either he pumps money into Republican candidates who are opposed to the MAGA movement, opposed to Trump, or whether he even starts to give money to the Democrats again?
Well, the hardest thing to do in America is to set up a new political party. So don't put your money into that, into that Las Vegas series of bets. But it's quite possible that Musk will devote many millions of his fortune, of his hundreds of millions of fortune, to mounting candidates that are going to challenge Trump economic nationalists in primaries. And I think Trump and Musk had already committed $100 million to helping Trump with the 2026 primaries. And it's quite possible that that $100 million will now be invested in candidates in the Republican Party, or maybe even some Democrats who oppose Trump. And I think Trump must be worried about that. I do think Trump still holds more of the cards. Musk can create a lot of trouble for Trump, but Musk does not have a genuine political base. He does not have a MAGA base. He does not have another base. He's a loner. He's the richest man in the world. He owns an incredibly powerful media platform that allows him to broadcast all sorts of things and generate all kinds of influence. But I think what he's confronting now is a steep decline in his popularity across the United States and across the world. So it's not going to be easy for him to certainly to oust Trump or to oust majorities in Congress. But he may well dedicate himself to doing that. I think we also have to contemplate the possibility that he will simply burn out, that the problems on politics, that the problems of his companies will become so serious and manifold that he'll have to retreat back into the economic realm that occupied almost all of his attention for a long period of time.
Gary Gerstle, thank you for talking to me. Thank you.
Thank you.